Good evening. Welcome back to Deer Corner. Just got done with supper, sitting down, going through some things that need to get done this spring and this summer up here. Kind of putting a little game plan together. And we had one food plot that failed on us this year. And it's one of the things that I'm wanting to bring up, because right now is a critical time of year for deer, especially the does that got bred. And they're going to need as much nutrition as possible right now before they fawn. And this is going to actually tell, this time of year will actually tell what kind of deer you're going to have in the future. And one thing I will bring up is, if a deer doesn't get enough nutrients this time of year, to not only for them, but for their young ones, they will miscarry. And deer are known to miscarry if they don't get the proper or enough nutrition. And that is something that isn't brought up a whole lot. But one thing we got going here, and I'll show a picture of it from last spring, is we have 11 to 13, and I'd say they're 3-4 year old redbud trees that we planted 4 years ago. And they're about 10-15 feet tall. And that's one plant right now, nutrition wise, is the best thing we got out there right now. Now a redbud tree is like a dogwood, and except they have a lot more buds on them. And them buds that are on the limbs of them redbuds, they're very high in vitamin C and vitamin D. And the thing about it, depending on how healthy the tree is, they'll carry 22 to 27% protein, and they're real low in fat, just a little bud. And the deer get as high as they can on these and stand up on their hind legs to get to these buds. And they may get 5 to 10 buds a day. Now them little buds that are coming off them tree, they're basically like we as humans take a 1 a day vitamin. And they can get enough of them buds and then go through and get the rest of their roughage, acorns, grass, what else is out there for them to eat as a filler. But them buds on them redbud trees is like a 1 a day vitamin. So right now, as far as nutrition wise, they depend on them redbuds right now up here in the mountains. So what we're going to do here, we found a way of doing it. We're going to prune down these trees, and we should get between 30 and 50 starts. And an area where they are growing now, we're going to go ahead and finish out that little valleyway. And I'll bring you along on that later on in another video, but we have to wait till they bloom. After they bloom, we'll prune them and then transplant them, and I'll show you how we do that. But as far as critical wise right now for a doe having a young one, you can have the best buck, best doe, they breed, and if she don't get the proper nutrients right now as the development stage on her embryo, is that young deer fawn would come out being a runt or something. It just won't develop into a good deer. So, right, like I say, right now, very, very critical. And a lot of hunters will sit there, and once hunting season's over, they're done. Until like 3 weeks before hunting season, they're going out food plots and that for hunting season. But if you don't take care of your deer at this time of year, in the future, you won't have the deer you wish you had. And that's all I'm trying to get across, is looking in the future, 2 years down the road, of the does that have the fawns, good healthy fawns this year. In 2 years I'll have good deer down the road. And that's one thing I wanted to get up and bring across. And I hope everybody's doing good, and I hope to see you again. And like I say, well, this time of year, the bear are coming out with their cubs. And walking up on a cub that's been out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that mama bear, she don't like people being around them cubs. So this time of year, when you're in the woods up here especially, make sure you be safe, and you have a good day. And go ahead and subscribe, hit the arrow, leave me a comment, and I'll get back with you. And y'all have a good evening.